Elevation Church, the real story. Charlotte, North Carolina. A city known for its quiet suburbs, its historic churches, and the steady rhythm of Southern life. But in 2006, on an ordinary morning, a spark was lit here that would grow into a flame reaching far beyond its borders. The beginning, a dream and a fear. At the center of this story is a young pastor, Stephen Furtick. From childhood, Stephen had grown up surrounded by church pews and Sunday sermons. But inside him lived a restless conviction: the message of God didn't belong only within stained glass windows and wooden pulpits. It belonged in broken homes, in the lives of addicts, in the streets where hope had gone silent. When Stephen announced that he would start a new church in Charlotte, his friends laughed. "There are already dozens of churches here," they said. "What's one more going to change?" But Stephen's eyes burned with something different. He quit his steady job, gathered a few loyal friends, and rented out a high school auditorium. The very first service attendance, 121 people. First victory, first defeat. That first Sunday was electric. People sang, wept, prayed, and some even promised to change their lives. Stephen felt like God himself was in the room. But the following week, the seats were nearly empty. Doubt crept in like a shadow. Had he made a mistake? Was this just a dream collapsing before it even began? That night, a letter arrived. It was from a young mother, trapped in a home with an abusive, alcoholic husband. She wrote, "Pastor, your words last Sunday stopped me from ending my life. Please don't quit. We need you." Stephen held that letter to his chest and whispered, "All right, Lord. I'll keep going. Even if it's just for one soul." Growth and controversy. Slowly, Elevation Church began to grow. People came from different neighborhoods, different races, different wounds. A worship band emerged with a fresh, modern sound that young people connected to instantly. But the growth brought critics. Old church leaders scoffed, "This is nothing but noise, this isn't real worship." A local newspaper printed, "Elevation is more brand than church." Stephen read every word. His heart broke. That night, sitting with his wife Holly, he confessed, "What if they're right? What if this is all just a show?" She looked into his weary eyes and replied, "Stephen, if this was just a show, people wouldn't be finding hope again. If it was just a brand, addicts wouldn't be walking away from drugs. Remember, when light grows, the shadows always grow too." The American struggle. One of Elevation's most daring ideas was Love Week. Thousands of volunteers flooded the streets, painting schools, feeding the homeless, visiting orphanages, serving the city without asking for anything in return. During one of those weeks, a young man named Marcus showed up. Marcus was no saint. He was a gang member, a drug dealer, a repeat felon. The only reason he came was because a girl dragged him in. That Sunday, Stephen preached, "God does not see you in the chains of your past. He sees the man or woman you can become." The words pierced Marcus's chest like an arrow. For the first time in years, he cried. Months later, Marcus, once a gang leader, was leading youth services, guiding teenagers away from the very streets that had once claimed him. The dark night. But success never comes without scars. One year, the church was struck by scandal. Media outlets accused Elevation of misusing donations. Headlines screamed. Protesters gathered outside. Inside the leadership team, fractures formed. Friends who had once dreamed together now walked away. One night, Stephen sat alone on the church stage. The auditorium was empty. His voice broke as he prayed, "God, did I do this wrong? Was this all my pride?" The silence was deafening. But the next morning, Stephen arrived at the church to find hundreds of people waiting outside. They weren't protesters, they were members. They held hand-painted signs, "This church saved my family. We stand with Elevation. You are not alone." Stephen wept. He realized something profound: Elevation wasn't built on his strength. It was built on the lives it had touched, and those lives were unshakable. The rise and the light. Years passed. Elevation became more than a church, it became a movement. Online services reached millions. Their worship music spread across nations. Songs like "Do It Again" and "Graves into Gardens" echoed in homes, hospitals, and even war zones. One mother wrote, "I sat in the hospital while my daughter went through chemotherapy. We listened to Elevation worship every night. Those songs kept me from breaking." The ending that isn't an ending. Today, Elevation Church stands not as a building, not as a brand, but as a living testimony, that broken people can find hope, that faith can survive criticism, and that dreams, if rooted in God, can move mountains. As Stephen often says, this church wasn't born from my dream. It was born from God's promise. And his promise never fails.